to share in the application or in the additional supplementary questions. So I'm happy to start. Alana James with United Way. I'm the Director of Community-Based Collaborations.
Ron Barra with Forsyth Tech. I'm Director of Career Support and Scholarship Funding in the Non-Credit Economic and Workforce Development Division.
My name's Richard David. I'm serving with AmeriCorps and I'm with the United Way.
Yolanda Bolden, Forsyth County Public Library, Manager of Outreach Services.
Awita Code, Computer Service Manager, Public Library.
Jacqueline White, Internet Services Librarian.
Darwin Woods, Library Supervisor, Forsyth County Public Library.
Patricia Sadler, Workforce Development and Community Relations Director.
Somebody's looking for y'all.
Somebody
Is that somebody coming?
I think so. She's talking to somebody.
Somebody's looking for a class.
Yeah,
There we go.
That's nowhere.
Now, you might want to give Pam Turner a call and let her know that you're here because we've been gabbing people all around.
All right, I'll start over. I'm Patricia Sadler. I'm the Workforce Development and Community Relations Director with the Winston-Salem Urban League.
And I'm Linda Goff, and I'm the Executive Director for Winston NETT.
Noel Stevenson John, from the United Way staff.
Nikita McDaniel, Community Organizer with Neighbors for Better Neighborhoods.
And I'm Glenn Holmes, faculty here at Winston-Salem State. If I may then, we've put together just a very brief slide presentation. It takes a few moments. My role is to facilitate the discussion. I'll be handing off to other members of our team as we go through this. I've made available to you copies in paper form. You can follow along, use them to take notes, however you wish. And thank you for the opportunity to sit with you today and have this conversation. We thought we'd use as a structure for the presentation the questions that were provided from the site team as guiding points and principles. The first of which was, what do we hope to accomplish? So we like to think of ourselves as a collaborative that leverage our complementary strengths. Ultimately, our goal is to introduce community residents to multiple technology-oriented pathways leading toward their success. And that would take, as you can see here illustrated on the screen as well as in our proposal, focuses will be on technology and the use thereof to obtain a variety of skills, experience, enrichment opportunities, develop perhaps businesses, things of the sort. The specifics of what we would hope to accomplish, we thought it best that we refer to the outcomes that were already in the proposal, and we could pause and answer any questions or come back to them later, however you so desire.
Come back to them unless there are questions right now. That'd be great.
Okay. So, how will we build capacity while engaging and employing residents? Well, we like to think that there will be opportunities to increase community revenue. And one way that we can contribute to that immediately is to hire qualified residents to facilitate the implementation of the project. We'd like to think that we could assist participants in starting or enhancing community-based businesses. I did not list a lot of examples there, but we'll come back and share with those later. We would also like to think that we could help participants connect with other agencies and businesses that provide similar kinds of services and training once they matriculate through our offerings. And then, of course, employ the trainer-trainer model with the hope and expectation that participants would see ways that they might be able to continue their effort and beyond. We're asked to share some of our past and current successes, and this is going to be the opportunity where we pass the mantle around the table. Although I've shown here, I'm going to defer to Winston-Salem Urban League to begin the conversation, and then I'll come back at the end.
The Urban League has demonstrated success in operating programs from youth to seniors. One program I might mention is our Summer Youth Employment Program, where we've been funded by the City of Winston-Salem for several years to recruit and train youth who are low income, who live in low income neighborhoods, and bring them into the Urban League and do training with them to prepare them for the workforce. So the first week of that program is an orientation, appropriate workforce behavior, interpersonal skills, conflict resolution. And we look at their career track. If they have chosen a particular career, then we place them in a company where they can get some hands-on experience with that type of work. We've had a student that wanted to be an engineer. We were able to place him with Davenport engineers. We had students that wanted to go into food service or retail, and we've been able to place those students. And a number of them have actually been hired by those employers, and they were able to work on weekends and after-school hours. A number of them have also gone on to college. So these are young people that have certain barriers that they seek to overcome. We have not denied an opportunity to be in the program if the student had failing grades or had difficulty with getting along with their parents. We look to bring those particular students into the program, and then we look to see the changes that they've made. The other program I might cite is our Senior Community Services Employment Program, which is a grant through the U.S. Department of Labor. And with that grant, we recruit and we bring in seniors, 55 and older, who have specific barriers. Some of them have low educational attainment, or they have other barriers that they need to overcome. So we recruit those seniors in 18 counties. We bring them into the program, we do an assessment, and based upon the assessment, we do what we call an individualized employment plan. So they have specific action steps with timelines upon which they are accepted to reach those goals. We work with them in terms of providing case management to help them identify resources to overcome those barriers. And the main goal of that program, of course, is employment. We have successfully reached our goal with the U.S. Department of Labor in terms of our placements. We are on target this year again, so that 75 of our seniors will become gainfully employed. And these are all seniors that are low income and face barriers like lack of computer skills, just lack of knowing how to do an electronic job search or how to apply. Seniors that may not have a good resume or don't have interview skills. So we work with these seniors in that regard. And so over a number of years, we have successfully run these two programs in addition to some other services that we provide.
Linda?
Yeah, so NETT is a nonprofit, a very small nonprofit, but our goal and our mission has always been to close the digital divide in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. Through grant programs, we have done a number of programs where we do basic skills training, employment skills, and then at the end of the program, a refurbished computer at a very low cost. And then also work with those participants to get connections to the internet in their home, which has always been a big struggle. A current success that we had with Forsyth Tech in 2014-15 was Technology Skills for Life and Employment, which is very similar to what you find in our application. We graduated 60 students from a course, and I'll let Ron talk a little bit about that. And at the end of that course, they paid $50 to get a refurbished computer with a 1-year warranty. We also did a program in 2010 to 2012, which was a federal stimulus grant. We had $1 million, which was really wonderful. And over a course of 24 months, we graduated 2,500, I would say 95% of them in low-income neighborhoods. And at the end of that, about 1,500 of them took advantage of the refurbished computer. So we have a lot of experience in running these types of programs. We know how to do it. And I'll have Ron maybe talk a little bit about what the curriculum is, and maybe the testimonials that we got this last program we did.
Okay. One of the important things in getting a computer is knowing how to use it. And so, as part of the program that Linda talked about, we required persons to go through a training program that Forsyth Tech provided. And it covered basic computer skills and also some job search skills so they could use the computer in order to search for a job. And we found that that really was a life changer. We talked to people afterwards who said, I got a job and it wouldn't have been otherwise unless I had that computer. And I was able to get on the internet, update my resume, look for jobs, and upload my resume to apply for jobs. And even one person who I talked to recently talked about how in her home, her child and her brother are there, and they started using the computer and got interested in it, and her brother is now taking a course at Forsyth Tech in basic computer skills. So we found that it really was a life changer. It made a big difference in the quality of their life because they could access the internet and all the information that's there for them. Of course, that course was just one of many we offer and have offered in the last 10 or so years. I have been over what's called HRD, that's Human Resource Development classes. Those are classes that are aimed at helping persons in the job search and with basic skills that are part of every job today, including computer skills, but also communication skills. And so what we've incorporated in our proposal is that we would do training, again, a little bit more expanded to include those employability skills for when they get a job and to succeed in those jobs as part of our effort. So it would be a 30-hour training that persons would have to go through, required to do that before they can have the opportunity to purchase a computer at a very low cost, $25
$25.
per computer.
Poet?
One of the computer trainer bridge came about as a grant funded position in '05. And the county seen the need that it was needed for a full-time trainer within Forsyth County to provide training for the citizens, anything dealing with basic computers, from Microsoft applications, from resume, job readiness, and learning about different type of online databases throughout the library. And one of our most prominent part of that program came about our one-on-one open health lab, which we mandate that lab 3 days out of the week. We help customers with anything from resumes, from job hunting, to improve skill sets. And we, from that program, we probably have helped at least 10 community find jobs. And the computer training bridge, what we do the train the trainer type of model concept. And what we do with that, we have people that come in from the community that are interested in training. And what we do is guarantee, we try to say, if you want to be a trainer, first you got to be an assistant. You got to go up on it and train up on our program at least one class for at least 2 hours a week. And from that point, you qualify as being a trainer. And if you're comfortable, you can move from being an assistant to being a full-time computer coach trainer. And if not, you can always stay in the program and always be a assistant and helping out in computer classes. And from that, we have at least 60 or more trainers up in the library that trains for computer classes throughout our library system and in some Western Net labs and in some churches.
Can I ask a question? Are those trainers paid, like contracted, or they're just
They're all
volunteer?
volunteers.
Okay.
And most of them, they have skill sets. They do it already as part of their career. And so they just come to the library because they like to train when they have other people. And another successful program we have and that we are very proud of and hoping to expand upon is our bookmobile. We have received a grant to improve our bookmobile, and we really, it's going to be more of a mobile library. It's going to be equipped with technology, and it still will have books also. But on that mobile, we're going to have 5 laptops, 4 iPads, a printer, what we call a smart board, and we will be offering classes within the target neighborhoods. So we're going to try to take the training to the customers because everybody can't come to our facility. So with the mobile, they will be able to get those job readiness skills they need within the neighborhood. And one perk about having that mobile is the internet access. When we park that mobile, it will throw out a range of at least 100 feet. So you don't necessarily have to be in the mobile to utilize the Wi-Fi. And so if someone within the community based off the NETT grants, they get a laptop or they get a device, they can be able to use that equipment once we go into those target neighborhoods by utilizing the Wi-Fi off the mobile. I think I covered the basic with.
Of the many things that we could share with you today about Winston-Salem's university's accomplishments, we chose 3 in particular because of their direct relationship to this proposal. They would include the Center for Entrepreneurship. We're looking to them to provide leadership and helping residents either augment or establish their businesses. Some of the successful stories in the past would include an effort pioneered and championed by the Center for Entrepreneurship that resulted in the hiring of 20 new employees in a local business. And they were also successful in developing their marketing plan as well as their business plan that secured that funding. In addition to that, those of you who are familiar with the School of Health Sciences, a mobile clinic, the Entrepreneur Center developed the marketing plan that launched that as well. We're particularly proud of those. CiVIC and GEMS are 2 local programs that have been intact up to 10 years and concentrate on STEM content as it relates to both young girls in middle school level and then both boys and girls through their CiVIC program. Through the effort that's been in place over that period of time, upwards of 1,000 students have successfully completed that. And then last but not least is our newly constructed facility known as the Center of Design Innovation. That is the fruit of a multi-year effort coordinated through Winston-Salem State, Forsyth Tech Community College, and the School of the Arts. Right up here along the street, name of which I just forget, I think it's Rams Drive, but there's a proposal to change that name. I don't know if there's some, I put it Rams Drive, if you take it out, headed towards Salem College.
I travel,
Yeah. You'll see the facility. If you ever have an opportunity to go in, please take advantage of that. State-of-the-art technology, space, layout, design, facilitated, aimed at facilitating the pursuit of new and emerging technologies, both in manufacturing, performing arts, and the like.
Glass building, like when you drive down, leaving the school on the right-hand side?
Yes, an oddly shaped and
Yes, I've
oddly
been wondering
colored.
about that
It is.
building.
That was 7 years in the making to get that thing up.
Okay.
Oddly shaped and oddly painted building. I
Very
might add.
crazy, but it's innovative.
Yes, it's innovative, cutting
It
edge,
is,
I'm
it
told.
is.
Yeah.
Mr. Mounside.
We've turned to them to provide any number of, if we're funded, services that would move this project forward. So.
One other thing I wanted to mention too about Wi-Fi, which is a really important piece because we're looking at internet services, that 31 labs, plus the libraries, the branches, all have free Wi-Fi. And in fact, we're getting fiber connections in many of our labs, to provide Wi-Fi even bigger areas around the center. So just as a FYI on that part of it too. So there is community Wi-Fi around.
So some of the more important points we'd like to emphasize on ways that we anticipate sustaining the program after funding. We interpret that after funding would expire.
Move the slides.
Beg your pardon?
Are we moving the slides?
No.
What about Patricia? Did she have a chance?
We did.
Oh, she started.
We
I went
We
last.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I went last so I wouldn't interrupt the slides. Regarding sustainability, our interpretation is at the end of funding, As already mentioned, we would emphasize our train-the-trainer approach to developing the strengths and skill sets among participants, and then leverage any other existing programs that are already intact. One example is the bridge training program already underway with the public library. We would want to establish new relationships with like-minded companies or agencies to explore possibilities for future efforts. Actively engage in ongoing grant writing. Perhaps you would like to fund us again for another cycle. And aggressively seek investments from any number of potential co-sponsors, businesses, foundations, churches, through providing facilities, access, any number of strategies that will surface as a result of those capabilities already being placed in the community.
And can I just add one thing? When we're looking at, partnerships in the community, one of the things Winston NETT is trying to do, and also, in collaboration with a lot of other people, is how do we find, medium to large businesses that really want to support the work that we're doing as far as digital inclusion and training. We are offering right now, Inmar is working with us on a tech night where there's at the 14th Street Rec Center, they can come and bring their devices in, get them fixed for free. Mobile phones, iPads, their laptop computers. They could even bring a desktop in. We're going to talk to a legacy who is very interested in doing this too. So what we're trying to do in the labs is finding these partnerships that can go there and sort of be a presence, And I don't know if they're going to move around, but especially 14th Street seems to be right in the middle of these neighborhoods, and we're trying to really promote that. We still don't have a lot of people coming, but I think that as we look at companies, they're very excited about doing this kind of work. So that can be another thing that we can sustain down the road.
Or the Carl Russell
In Carl Russell,
Community
yeah,
Center,
yeah.
which is pretty close to the
And
Maisie
that's-
Woodruff
right.
location, but
And we're thinking about an innovative lab there, actually, with the North Carolina Next Generation Computing with AT&T. There's an innovation, and I just sent the email about Carl Russell. I think that would be a great lab to have, and I wanted to make sure that it was in these 13 neighborhoods where it might be virtual reality kind of things, really introducing some innovative and have some equipment there that the residents can use that's really up to date and really cool, and maybe get some ideas about how that might lead to jobs or, even further in their education in high school and in college too. So we're working on those kind of partnerships as an organization ourselves, as well as, all the other partnerships that people are doing. So.
And we've also partnered with AT&T through our contact with Kathleen Evans, where we've had them come in and do a presentation on how to use your smart device, because it's more than just making a phone call or texting. So they've talked to people about how to use it as a resource for employment opportunities as well. So we do have that connection.
We also do offer training, my trainer, on all different types of devices and how to use your device. We have a lot of customers, they get devices and they really don't know how to even turn one on. And so we do one-on-one with that, and we do bring in your mobile device as a class and have a group of people in there helping with the customers with their devices.
I'm sorry, I just had one question. So have you all talked, do you all do accessing like health records or medical records, and have you found that that's been a big need or?
Huge problem. And the challenge has been, at least at Wake, and I think Novant's a little bit better, but Wake, getting that ID and that password has been, but they just have come up with a new application, and we're very focused on that with NC Engine as well, so that's another segment of this, is how do we get, like the community care center, get the public health department, and start training people on how to get on to use that patient portal. The same way as in the school system for parent portals, so these parents and grandparents that need to get in, look at their records and that kind of stuff, So that kind of training, and I imagine the library, could probably do those kind of things as well, but we're trying to get something around those two big portals that I think are very important in the community.
We have a big page that deals with health information. We received a grant last year from
The National Institute of Health
Institute
in
of Health.
Bethesda, Maryland. So we were actually part of a pilot program where we sustained the database that they had. So any information that a customer in the community was interested in getting related to any health, proactive, preventive, they could go through our portal, through the county website, through the library's website, and access any of that information. Because a lot of times people sort of still believe Wikipedia is all, be all.
Yeah.
So of course, we as professional librarians have to filter that information. So with that partnership, we were able to successfully do that.
Did you have a lot of people using that database?
We did.
Did you? Because I would think that would be extremely important, and, you know, that's not well advertised.
Yeah.
That-
It was actually on the county website for a whole year. And so we pushed
Yeah.
through advertising, we actually went out in the communities and promoted
Did you?
it as
Good.
much as we could.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Then being able to get into their personal records on top of that, that's just a whole package there. Yeah, that's great.
So one of the other questions was for us to think about our program and identify aspects that excite us, but were not specifically addressed in the proposal. And here is a collection of a few of those notions. Monies were not targeted to serve as venture capital, but we'd like to think that during the project cycle, those dollars would emerge and then become available to participants who show their readiness to launch or augment their businesses. Linda, you want to speak to closing the digital divide?
Well, you know, when anybody has asked me what I'm excited about, is what I'm excited about. And it's the closing of the digital divide, but what technology does for everybody. You know, the fact that somebody does not have a connection at home and a computer at home, that's a family, that has students, that has seniors, is unconscionable in 2016. It shouldn't be happening. So, you know, wherever we can get the money to be able to keep on doing this and getting this thing. The FCC is very much working on doing the Lifeline program. I don't know if you know, for it's $10. So instead of a phone, they're going to look at internet as another option, you know, that they can use for Lifeline. So there's a big, huge push right now to get internet in the home and getting computing devices. So I'm always excited, but like Ron and I have talked about how it changes their life in every aspect, in education, in health, in jobs, in banking, financial, just all over the, you know, this is everything, so, yeah.
We'd like to think that participants would become excited as a result of the things that they experience and actively engage in. And that could possibly result in a career shift in terms of their aspirations. One example that came to my mind was the emerging emphasis on science.
Sorry. Likes to come out after a few minutes.
Hilarious.
We'd like to see a wider utilization of existing resources and tailor them such that they are aimed at economic growth and development. We believe that we could have some influence on the decision-making underlying that effort. And then this sort of brings us where we started. We'd like to think that participants discover new pathways and actually reach a point where they believe that those pathways are achievable for them.
So what type of jobs, I guess, do you envision individuals who participate having access to, or what have you seen in the past? Or is it a wide range? Do you have employers that you work with specifically, or does it just kind of depend?
Well, we do work specifically with employers, but what we do is we look at the trends and we look at what the jobs will be in demand moving forward. So we try to gear them toward that. What we're finding is that there are jobs, but there's a skills deficit. People don't have the skills to fill those positions. So we look to institutions like Forsyth Tech to provide that particular training that would make them employable and to be able to fill that gap in training.
And from the youth piece, I'm sure it depends predominantly on what that individual or that youth's interests are.
Right, we serve 100 youth between the ages of 15 to 19 in the Summer Youth Employment Program. So when they come into the program, they have to identify a career track, what particular area they would like to go into. So we seek to place them with an employer where they can get real experience in that particular field, and also to direct them toward the type of training they should take if they want a career in that particular area.
We'd be adding more young people to the program if you guys were awarded the grant. It would be more than the 100 you
The
serve
100,
now.
of course, yeah,
Okay.
because we usually get up to 300 applications, but based on the funding, we can only serve 100. So we had to go through a selection process as to who should be in the program. And we asked them to write, why should I be chosen? But as I said, we don't discriminate against kids who have poor grades. We do get copies of their report cards, but we don't eliminate them because they have poor grades or acting out behavior, because those are the students that are slipping through the cracks, and those are some of the ones we really need to reach.
I want to apologize for being late. I'm James Perry. I'm the CEO at the Urban League, and of course, Patricia has been at the Urban League for a long time and probably knows far more than I will ever know about employment, which is our specialty at the Urban League. But the one thing, two things that I would add, specifically to your question. One is, and I think it was inherent in her answer, but I want to say it in a different way. And that's that, to the question of what are the jobs. What we see over and over again is that it's frankly the same jobs that are out there. But we get people who are coming in all the time. We're trying to place folks who are hard to place. It's seniors and young folks, and sometimes it's young folks who have records. Sometimes it's seniors who have criminal records, and so they're always hard to place. But over and over again, the challenge isn't actually whether or not they have a record. Actually, the greatest challenge is that they don't speak the same language that employers speak. And the language that the employers speak is a very technical and digital language. Right? And so the thing that attracts us to this entire partnership is that it's a chance for us to find a way to help the people who we serve speak the technical and digital language that employers speak. And so, so the first part, and I think that's quite inherent in what Patricia is saying, is that it's not really, in some respect, so I'm going to get to a point about creating new jobs, but one part of this is not about creating new jobs. It is just about making sure that people in our communities, particularly in African American and Latino communities in Winston-Salem, actually speak the same technical and digital languages that employers speak. So, and that they can put those skills on their resume in a very real way, and so that when they show up in an interview, they're actually delivering those exact same skills. And so, and that's the first part, and that's what this entire partnership allows us to present and to provide. The second thing, though, is about a fundamental viability issue for the entire Winston-Salem community that I think that we can start to, that I think is starting to be addressed, but I think that this entire project addresses. And that is a shift by employers that I think has rocked the entire nation, but certainly rocked this community, whereby it used to be that you go and you work for a corporation, sometimes for decades, right? And so that's changed now. And when a company wants to become more profitable, the main thing that they want to do is shed employees, because technology has allowed them oftentimes to find a way to digitize processes so that they don't need as many people. Instead, they just need technology. Right?
In part-time employment.
In part-time employment, right? And so, but the other thing that we've seen is that there are incredible entrepreneurial opportunities and incredible employment opportunities that come from technology. And but to take advantage of them, again, you have to speak technology. You have to speak digitally. And so there's nothing that says that someone who lives in any community can't take advantage of those opportunities. But the thing that prevents it from happening is access is crossing the digital divide. And so over and over again, our clients come in and either they're seniors or they're youth, and they have incredible vision. But the thing that is the challenge for us is that we have a hurdle in getting them over the digital divide. And so what we saw in the partners in this room were people who could help us to get them across the digital divide. And that's what gets us into this room as a partnership, because we realize, you know, we don't have to build all the things to get people across our clients across the digital divide. All we have to do is get into this NETT partnership, and we can deliver all the assets that we have, and we can make it all come together. And so, but in the end, I think that there is this problem that because of the way that that economies have shifted, people are in some ways a liability for companies, and if people are a liability for companies, but technology is an asset, then it behooves us to make technology an asset for all the people in our community, and that's what we see. That's certainly the thing that the Urban League sees as the most important opportunity here, and we see it as a fundamental viability issue for the community.
So the last question is, what would happen between now and July 31st if funded? May I sum this up by saying we get busy, and here are a laundry list among many others that we would have to do. In light of the time, it might be better just to move on to any questions that you may have, Elena or anyone else around the table.
Sure. So for this program, it sounds like there are several components that would be expanded from some of your past successes as partners, including the youth employment piece and the Bridges program. So is it that the intended entry point for a client would be through either the youth employment program or through the library courses, or talk to me about how I as an individual would become a part of this work?
What we're thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, partners, is that we would engage 100 people the first year to enter into the Forsyth Tech Winston NETT program.
Okay.
That 30-hour program where they could go and get those basic skills. So it certainly would be focused on all the basic, those that don't have those basic skills and employability skills, and then get their technology. Now, that's for that piece of it. If it wasn't and they need to go to the intermediate or into an entrepreneurial thing, they wouldn't necessarily go with this, but there would not be a computer at the, available to those programs. We haven't designed it like that.
Okay.
And then next would be for the library, all the programs and services where they have intermediate and advanced training, train the trainer, the mobile lab, and all of those programs that they are offering, would be sort of the supplement to it, when they, and then entrepreneurship would follow into that. And I think it really is going to depend, and correct me if I'm wrong, Glenn and Patricia, how that marketing and outreach and how we're going to engage the folks that might be interested in that. So.
Yeah, the Urban League will primarily be the boots on the ground, if you will. We will be in the community reaching out and making sure that everyone in the community is well aware of the program. And we will use electronic media, print media, door-to-door canvassing, whatever's necessary to make sure that we reach the community. And what we want to do is get the community involved so that they take ownership for the program. Not going in saying this is what you need and this is what we're going to do, but going in and making sure that we are addressing their needs by hearing from them. There will be a central type of registration process, and then once they're registered, we will do an assessment when we will determine what their needs are and then work with them on a family success plan. So it may be that they will need to go directly to Forsyth Tech. They may need to go to Winston NETT, to the library, or whatever. But through that central registration process, the needs of the clients will be determined, and it will be pretty much tailored to their individual needs.
So it's also, I think, part of the rationale was that the Urban League has faces and people who work in this community, and so the problems and challenges will be things that we're accustomed to, and so it'll be a lot easier for us to walk people through and to get folks exactly to where they want to be or where they should be.
As you may recall, our projections are aimed at touching the lives of 500 persons each year. And we feel strongly that through the efforts of the Winston NETT Forsyth Tech path and the basic training that's already underway through the library and or partnering with Urban League, we can get a critical mass of folks ready to move on to the next level if need be, and through the aggressive marketing, identify a number that would make up that difference. We projected that that may be 1,500 individuals, average of 3 members per family.
Trying to find that. Okay, so 500 per, yeah, I remember there was a breakout. I was looking through, so you mentioned the in the supplementary questions about the AT&T program. And is this also something that would mainly be for something that residents would be made aware of during that initial kind of intake process or the centralized process that you were talking about,
Right,
Patricia?
yes.
To identify residents who would be eligible for this program?
Right, and through our contact, Kathleen Evans at AT&T, she has told us that when they're ready to roll that program out, she will work closely with us to make sure that the community is there and able to get enrolled in the program.
And this is, do you know what the timeline for that was, when it would be available, or is that just?
I think
April.
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 They're
Okay.
announcing it in April, and yeah, it should be available. It'll be available for this program for sure.
And Time Warner is close behind?
They're supposed to be, so they're still negotiating their merger. Comcast is, Comcast, what's the other one?
Xfinity?
No, not Comcast. Oh, anyway, a merger. Time Warner's going away, so they're
Oh.
merging, yeah. And so the FCC is requiring the same thing they required of AT&T, that they offer some kind of $10 a month internet service. And so it's hard to know exactly when that's gonna happen, maybe the end of this year, maybe 17, so, yeah.
Was
So
it
this
Time
is all
Warner?
changing.
Was it Time Warner?
Time Warner, huh?
Was it Time Warner the other group?
No, Time Warner's,
Being
the
acquired.
name's going away, and
Yeah.
it's not Comcast. Gosh, I can't believe I can't remember that.
No, I'm not gonna get it either.
Because I use AT&T.
It'll come to me.
I use AT&T.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyway, but also in our program, you know, it's sort of a plan, so they're going to go through the Foresight Tech training thing. There is, you know, understanding of broadband in the home, you know, so we will reiterate that in our classes too, so the instructors will have that information. It'll be presented up front so that they have time to, you know, research it, get on board, so by the time that they get their computer, they have, you know, in place that broadband at home for those that don't have it already, so.
Yeah, that's come up as probably the
The big
biggest,
thing, and it's
the
such a
biggest issue.
huge issue, we've been working on it for 15, 20 years, and so is the nation, all the people that need this. So I think things are breaking loose a little bit, and we think $10 a month. The challenge is credit, you know, the challenge is risk, you know, and I would love to see prepay accounts if they could start doing something like that, you know, but I don't know exactly how they're gonna go, but there's no modem, there's no installation fee. So it really is a $10, at least that's what we're being told. So when they announce it, we'll see what it looks like. But I think that we're moving in that direction, at least it's affordable.
And we've just enrolled over 300 people in the SNAP program, and by April, we will have 500. Those
There we
same
go.
individuals will be eligible for
Yeah.
that program with AT&T.
Yeah, you have to be on SNAP to get that $10.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. I mean, besides transportation, I think that's probably what has come up as one of the biggest barriers.
Absolutely.
Everyone seems to have a mobile phone, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Wi-Fi
Yeah.
seems to be the
Yeah.
biggest challenge. Okay. That's interesting. Oh, that's exciting, definitely. So after the initial, I guess, first 2 steps with the basic computer training and then onto entrepreneurship, is that when you kind of look more towards the offerings that Winston-Salem State and Urban League would have around other opportunities?
They would be tracked based on a fairly rigorous assessment to map their next experiences with their immediate need, aimed at advancing their skills, either to the intermediate level or even beyond.
And have you talked a little bit about the business co-sponsorships and things of that nature with Inmar. Have you had success with others, or with job placement? I'm going to say this: the Impact Council. We talk a lot about opportunities for residents to become employed, and that's the heart of this work. But placement is always difficult too, because employers have to commit to you know, recognizing that quality employees are coming out of particular programs and kind of protecting that space. Has that been your experience with some of these employers, or is it?
We haven't really looked at that angle, you know, because we're looking at services in the community, so we haven't looked at the job angle of it, but that probably is a really good thing. We're starting to meet with many of them. Wells Fargo has also partnered with us on a geekathon that we're doing with the school system, where their employees, 200 of their employees refurbish desktop computers, and we give them to the kids of the school system, you know, 100 of them in 3 days. It's
So
really
Wells
pretty
employees
cool.
are doing that?
The employees do it for 2 days, and then on Saturday, the kids come in with their parents and pick up their computer. It's just so cool for free.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really good. But I think that there are employers that really want to help. The employment piece is never broached that way, so, you know, Forsyth Tech, I would think, with the certification, I mean, there's sort of a certificate of completion for our course, but the things that you offer there, Ron, I think probably have some credibility too with employers.
Certainly,
And-
our occupational programs
Right.
are well respected by employers.
Right.
And I would find that some in that the Urban League is pretty regularly getting contacted by employers who are looking for opportunities to hire, and so you know, Patricia and I can give a pretty robust list of folks who are coming to us, you know, from Herbalife to AT&T to Home Depot and Lowe's, who are coming to us and asking for opportunities to hire, and so actually the challenge for us hasn't been finding partner employers. So you know, with our senior program, for instance, our goal is to hire to get hired about 75 seniors over the course of a year, and Patricia heads that program, and last year she had a record year, almost hitting 100%, hitting 95%, and you know, so this year we're at 43, and we're gunning towards hitting 100% by the end of by June. And but again, the issue has been when we talk to employers, this mismatch, right? So they come and they see our people, they talk to our people, and what they say is that there are these specific skills that we need that just happen to be lacking. And so they come to us because they know we have this wonderful senior program and this wonderful youth program. So it's not that they aren't interested in those demographics. They want those demographics. But we are part of this partnership because they want these additional digital and technical skills. And so, you know, these are the additional things that we have to provide. But we have a list of employers who want to talk to people and want to hire people. It is getting these additional skills.
Yeah, we're constantly getting job postings from employers. We have commitments from the city of Winston-Salem to work with us as well. We formed a business consortium, which we have about between 45 to 50 HR managers from the major employers in the area. So we invite them in for breakfast or lunch each quarter. And we actually have job seekers who are able to sit around the table and interact with them as well. And then we do the hiring events where we have employers come out and they're seeking to hire and fill positions so that people that are looking for jobs have an opportunity to put a resume in their hand, shake their hand, see them face to face, wherefore they had been sending in applications or resumes and had not gotten any response at all. So we have those opportunities as well.
I've been doing most of the talking with questions. I want to make sure.
No, I thought I'd been doing most of the talking.
You missed that, I'll say that.
I want to say this in a slightly different way. You know, if you have gotten your resume together and you are used to hand submitting or mailing in your resume, but an employer requires you to email your resume, and you have to email it as a PDF attachment. But you have never had to email or to PDF your resume, or you're not savvy in using Word, Microsoft Word, then that becomes very cumbersome and you overlook that process. And instead, you go towards a employer for whom you can just do a handwritten application. And so you're immediately limited in terms of who all your employer options are. Right? And so that's the kind of when I talk about the digital gap that we're talking about, that's an example. And I think I don't know what anyone in this room what your technical, well, I do know for a lot of us in this room what our technological ability is, but I just wanted to put in very simple terms what we're talking about here. That if just being able to get someone in front of a computer screen to PDF their resume and their cover letter and able to send it over as a consistent response to an employer, huge difference.
And the library.
And that's what we do.
Yeah, that's exactly what you guys do every single day.
Right.
But who knows about the service though? See, that's where.
And that is what this consortium is.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
and it's a very complex proposal before you with a lot of numbers and a lot of stuff. But that's it. That is, Urban League goes out, gets the people and says, hey, we can help you get this stuff together. It's kind of daunting if you've not gone to college to say, show up at Forsyth Tech, show up at Winston-Salem State, or come over to the library and come use all these really complex tools. But what we can do is we can get folks in to come into these environments, get really comfortable in these environments, and use all these tools and get comfortable with them, and then figure out how to get them into their households so that they can take advantage of these tools forever.
So if I might add to that, an advanced application of that very basic skill would be, as an example, the creation of electronic folios that are built upon rich media such as audio, video, have increased functionality that would better position those applicants not only to enter the workplace at the entry level, but to leverage those skills for advanced positions within organizations. So it's applying that knowledge, putting that knowledge to work such that it continuously grows and builds and gives them, if I may, a brighter path toward a future that they can aspire to.
But that's sort of more advanced, than what we're gonna do. I think, we're really starting off with very basic skills, just like you said, a PDF and how to do that, so it's setting them on the path, to move into, where they wanna go, so it builds on it.
So
I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead first, I'll wait.
No, I was just going to say, you do need to understand that type of level of training is not just for the adults. That stuff is being bumped down to the middle schoolers. So as I listened to everything that everyone was saying in direction for the adults, you cannot leave out the STEM program. That's a very, very important component of this whole process, because these are the people that are going to be taking the jobs and the whole lay of the land is going to change dramatically as they grow up, and everything that you're presenting to people now will not exist. So, as long as you understand that you got to keep the children in the mix, you're going to end up with another population that will not be able to handle what's coming down the pipe that none of us know about.
So one of my questions is, and from my understanding, is that in our community, we have traditionally thought that we were reaching out, providing services such as computer management with maybe Office, understanding Word and Excel and maybe publisher, desktop publishing. So we've had programs before that gave participants that. And then we said, well, if we can get them those skills, then they can be trained and they can go work here. So am I hearing that now employers are asking for them to have a deeper skill set than just that to enter the door?
I mean,
So-
it's the whole.
I can even speak for the county. We no longer use Office. We're a Google shop now.
That's right.
So you're having to retrain now.
Right.
For instance, if somebody coming in who has no knowledge of Office and has to learn now Google, a whole nother application or a whole nother, so that's something else.
But it's fairly intuitive, it's transferable knowledge,
It is if you've had that experience.
Exactly,
Right.
so having the experience on Office
Right.
is okay, it transfers to Google.
Right.
Up to a point.
Up to a point.
Up to a point.
But up to a
yeah.
point.
We are having the exact same transition at Urban League right now, where we're transitioning from, I'm a person who uses Google a lot, and so people were using old versions of Office, and so we're transitioning now. and it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, and so you know, the problem is that for us to just to be really frank with you, for us to be providing excellent service to our clients, we have to be using what's state of the art, right? So I'm trying to get us to state of the art, and we're moving quickly and aggressively to state of the art, so that we can provide everyone who we serve state of the art, and it's a little painful.
It's
you
a
know?
big shift.
Yeah.
And people don't realize
It
how
changes
difficult it is for people to attach an email to their, an attachment to their email. You have to download your resume to that little box. They don't understand what's involved in that process. And some people don't even know how to set up an email. So that's the kind of clients that we come in contact with. Never mind having to go search for your unemployment. That's another skill level. Or the fact that you're applying for school. And what's the difference between Blackboard and Moodle? I mean, there's a whole plethora of things going on that people have to be able to access and understand. So, as he said, that I need to have my grandchildren text speak when it's all said and done. That's despite, or it's nice having the computer, it's nice having the smartphone, but you're dealing with an environment that requires a specific vocabulary, and we have to master the vocabulary.
Thank you.
To answer your question a little bit more in depth, it's a matter of the difference of generation. So what an employee, so like you were saying back then, a basic kind of understanding of computers was more than that. You're thinking of like from my age group who has dealt with computers since first grade. Basics, like what I consider to be basics, isn't something that is basic for a lot of people. So employers are looking at that you have a whole nother generation of people who can come in that are younger, that they have a higher understanding of advanced skills. So I think that's really what it is that we've learned through our, especially at the library, at our classes, is still offering those basic computer skills and intermediate and advanced
Okay.
They need
at
them
the
all.
same thing.
They gotta kind of go through
Yeah,
each
they have to
transition.
go,
Yeah.
like,
They do.
like a lot of our classes, you have to have like
Yep,
that
that's really
basic
basic.
class.